Hey everyone, I am so excited about today's video. I first want to say thank you to Cricut for sponsoring it and let you know there's going to be a giveaway, so keep watching, I'll give you more details. So for DIY number one, we are going to use our Cricut maker and make this really large stencil that's going to fit our wood round perfectly, and it's going to be super easy. First, we are starting off with an 18-inch wood round. This sucker is huge. I think like it was all wrapped up at Lowe's like it was supposed to be a tabletop thing. So first I went ahead and stained it with Minwax Early American, and now I've already taped it off, and I'm going to be using the Folk Art chalk paint in Nautical. I should have had a foam roller to do this, however, I couldn't find it. I have one. I've used it before. Couldn't find it, so a paintbrush is just what I kind of had to go with, because I looked around anywhere I thought I might have stashed it away at, and my best guess is that it somehow ended up in the garage, that I put it out there at some point, and that was just not, it wasn't gonna happen today. So I went back and forth with a couple of different paintbrushes just to try and get, you know, the best application of it that I could. I ended up doing like 2-ish coats, and I made sure I dried all along the edges, and then I took my paint tape off. And then I left it overnight just to make sure that it was like fully dry, because we are going to put down some stencil vinyl on top of this to paint. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and go into Design Space, and we're going to kind of make like a mock-up of what we're making. First, we're going to do a little circle in yellow, 3.5 inches. This is kind of like our holding spot for all of our little embellishments for the O. And then we're of course going to make a circle that's 18 inches. That's going to be our wood round. We're going to make it wood colored, and we're going to also make a rectangle that's going to be 10 inches high and about 18 inches wide. And we'll make that blue because that's what I'm painting it. And what I'll do is I'm going to actually slice out that part to make it to where you can really get a good idea of what it's going to look like. And once we've gotten it all in there, we're going to go in and start searching our wording. First, we're going to search for welcome. I didn't want to just type it out. I wanted something like already made for me, because that's just easier. And so I didn't think I found anything I wanted for 2R, because that's not a common thing. And so I just typed it in. I did a Dear John font, and I just typed it in, sized it up kind of the way I wanted to. I took down the spacing between the letters, and then we're going to go back in and search for the word home. Now I'm going to cut the O part of home, and we just won't paint it. We kind of arrange everything the way we want, and then we're going to put it on our round, because I am going to paint it white. And this is nice because it gives you like a pretty good idea of what it's going to end up looking like. Now on that Dear John font, you do have to change it from being like a ink, like a printed one, versus a cut one. So just make sure you do that. I went ahead and cut that all out in some stencil vinyl, and now I'm just going to weed it out. Now this is obviously a really large piece of vinyl because our project is huge. And I think that this kind of helped me. I am awful with placement. Putting stuff on things straight, making it in the right places is not my forte. So what I did is I actually went ahead and cut it out in like where the blue area is. Now the blue on blue made it a little hard, to be honest, but it's okay. I put, of course, my transfer tape down, and now I'm just peeling that back. And like I said, I was hoping that this was going to kind of give me a little bit more of a guide. And I feel like it helped. It didn't make it completely foolproof, which would have been nice, because, I mean, still you can tell I'm having some, you know, back and forth on getting it down. And I'm going to varnish it down really good, and making sure that, you know, you don't lose all of your little areas inside your letters, you know what I mean? Like the little spot in the E, the spots in the O, and that kind of thing. And once I've gotten that done, I'm going to go through and like really rub down as best as I can all of those areas, because now we're going to start just stippling on. Again, if I had a foam roll brush that I knew where it was, I could have done this, but I just did is I took a Dollar Tree sponge, my Adirondack white paint, and I've got it. I'm actually holding my sponge with a little paper clip, paperclip, not a paperclip, a just a little clothespin. And I was really close to messing up. You see that? I left my O open. I was originally not even going to cut it. And then I forgot about it and I came really close to messing up. So once we're done, putting all of our paint in, this is 3 coats of the white. And it's pretty much done at this point. I am just going to go ahead and add in my Hellman's clear coat. This is really good for if you're going to put something outside, and it is water-based. Make sure you get the water-based one. Now I'm going to put down a little piece of Velcro. This is like a double-sided Velcro. I want to say I got it at Hobby Lobby. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. And I'll just, hot glue that down. And I was like, oh, I really hope this is good. I want to not mess it up because I was like, I've come so far. And I've got this really adorable little ghost. I'll show you in a minute all the different elements to switch it out with. But I'm going to add my Velcro onto the sign itself, and then I will hot glue it from there. That will make it a lot easier. So here you can see all of the elements that I've done here, and just so you know, I am still going to add in the hardware. I ordered it online and it was tiny, 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 tiny. I didn't do a very good job of ordering it, so that'll have to wait. I'll link a video for you below from Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs, just in case you need to reference it for adding that hardware, because she's done it and she's awesome. See, it was pretty simple to make it, and you'll definitely have to let me know down in the comments if you're going to try to recreate this. And if you do, please tag me on Instagram. I would love to see it. Like I mentioned, this is going to be an awesome video because it is part of a challenge collab that I'm hosting. It's all going to be changeable or reversible decor. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you check out the playlist because there's going to be tons and tons of really fun videos to check out. A lot of people you may not know, so I'll leave it linked for you below, of course. So DIY number 2 is going to be even easier because we are going to use all ready-made designs at a design space. Now we're going to have this big old tray. These are a lot of big projects. It was all screwed in and I was able to unscrew it, and I don't know, like a part of me likes the pig more than I did at the beginning, and now I'm like, maybe I should leave it. But I didn't cover up the pig. Don't worry, the pig is safe. I am going to just trace out the shape of that tray on just a piece of scrap wood that I had. I sanded it all down because I did not like the stain. So on one side I painted in Waverly chalk paint and ink, and then the other side I am going in with the Folk Art Walnut wood tint. That's a mouthful. So I am going to make this reversible, and like I said, I'm just going to go over the staining part because I didn't like the red. I want to say it was like a mahogany. All right, so now we're going to go back into Cricut Design Space, and now these are super easy because I have Cricut Access. It's a monthly subscription, but it's really worth it. I'm just going to type in Home Sweet Home, and it's going to give us just a ton of choices. You pick out whichever one you want, you size it down to where you want it, and then you follow the prompts within your design space and what the machine tells you. Basically, it makes all the buttons blink when you need to push them. I mean, it could not be any easier. So we pick out our stencil and we're going to cut it out the same way. Now on this one, I have actually cut it out on some removable vinyl. And this is actually the Cricut brand removable vinyl, and I really like it. I really like to use this for stencils when I don't have to worry about something that's been painted. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't worried about the paint coming up like I was on the wood round. This one, I feel fairly secure. And plus this one here, we're actually putting it on a stained piece of wood. You don't have to worry so much about the stained wood. You know what I mean? So we're just going to do the same thing where we weed it all out. And I wanted to show you this because on these more complex ones, I like to trim it as I go. It's going to make it a lot easier to make sure you don't end up having it like fall back down on the design and then you ruin your design because it picks up the wrong thing. Because obviously that's never happened to me. But I just wanted to show it to you for that reason. So I've got my transfer tape down now, varnished it, to the extent of of the end of its life almost. Not really, but so we're going to varnish the back side as well. If it feels like it's not picking it up, what I usually will do is I will actually take the transfer tape and stick it on like my clothes to make it less sticky. That way I have an easier time pulling the transfer tape off. So once we've done that, I'm going to go with some crazy way of trying to get it in the right spot. I told you before, it's not my forte. So basically what I did is I unstuck it off of the carrier paper part, and then I restuck it on and kind of like measured it around trying to get it in the right spot. I'm really not sure if it helped because I might be a little hopeless, but that's okay. Even if I left it just like that, it would look adorable. But you know we can't do that. So we're going to take our Waverly chalk paint and plaster, and we are just going to coat quite a bit of it. I honestly wish I had gone heavier over the stencil. So let that just, you know, resonate in your mind a little bit. Heavier on the stencil part. And this is kind of like doing like a reverse stencil, so you can see the wood grain and the stain part where your actual stencil / vinyl is. Again, you could just put down vinyl. That would look adorable too. And we're going to do that in a couple minutes. But I just take, you know, a chip brush, go over it. If you think it's too heavy in any certain spots, break out your sander and just sand it down a little bit. And now we're just going to pull off all of that vinyl using our little weighting tool from Cricut. This thing is like razor sharp. Do not get in the way. You will stab yourself. So be careful with that. And like I said, you're just going to start peeling it back. I wasn't too worried about messing anything up or gouging or anything like that because this is obviously pretty rustic. And just you kind of keep going until you get it all down. And this one was a little more intricate, so it took a little bit more time. And like I said, you just kind of keep going with it till you get there. And I wanted to sand down a little bit, just a couple places to make it a little bit more rustic. I mean, I'm thinking it's pretty rustic. This is my little finger sander. It's going to be linked for you below if you're interested. I got it at Target. Super easy to find. And I'll just put the online link for you though. Once you've gotten it sanded down, Theresa, there you go. We're going to go ahead and work on the other side. Now this is just a piece of permanent vinyl. And again, with my attempt to try to find the middle, I kind of just measured it and then I measured it again. And I was like, put a little dot of like where it was in the middle on the actual transfer tape. And then I don't know, you guys know, if you've been here for a little while, you know I'm not the best at this part, but that's okay. I went ahead and did the same steps where I varnished it and put it down. And this is just another one of the things I found in the Cricut design space. And I didn't have to do anything to it. Like literally, this is it. I welded it together. I will say that I did weld it all together because it on the actual Cricut design space, it had the gathered in a different color. So you can leave it like that, or you can make it your own, you know. So here's the end product on one side, and then there's the other side. I love the reversible decor. I tell you what, guys, I love it. For our final DIY, we are going to make these super sweet, easy projects using our Cricut Maker again. All right, so next one we are doing is just this rustic window frame with a bunch of chicken wire looking stuff. I did not make it. Yeah, I bought it that way. I'll link it for you where you can find it below. And now I've got one of the Dollar Tree mason jars. This is some of their new galvanized stuff that I absolutely love. I did the whole Mod Podge, put the paper on. I did it wrong the first time, so I had to take it off. This is my second attempt. So I was like, whatever, just put the darn stuff on there. I'm tired of dealing with this jar. So I put it the other way, where I put like the jar on top of the paper, and then I was like, oh, it's not going to be straight. So I did it the other way, and I got my little roller brush out and I rolled a lot of it, trying to straighten it out, get it really stuck onto, that mason jar. So once I've gotten that side, I realized, oh, well, good job, Teresa. You glued down you glued it almost down to the mat. And I did another side as well. If you'd seen when I was, yapping on, the other side is a different paper because it's, again, reversible. I'm going to show you this one. It's going to be really, really cute when it's done. And I'm just going to trim around the edge. I've already kind of given my Mod Podge a good chance to dry before doing this. I was a little impatient. There was a couple spots that were kind of wet. I also went ahead and sanded and also put down a stain on my little window frame. That one is called the Minwax Ebony. I'll link it for you below. And I've cut out 2 different decals, same kind of way I did the last time, where these were already in the Cricut design space. Super easy. You pick out what you want and you go with it. And we're going to go in with this folk art paint, and we are just going to stipple it all on, making it super easy. And this is, I'm using the same stencil vinyl as I used on the first project. And I don't know, guys, I have this really weird relationship with the paper. I really want to use it because I'm like, well, all this paper is so stinking cute. How could you not want to use it? And I'm like, but I want to put words on it. So I don't know. I haven't found the best way to do it. This has been the best so far, using like more of like a stencil vinyl because it doesn't stick as much, but I definitely messed up a couple of spaces on there, but that's okay. I covered it up with some antique wax, right? When in doubt, make sure you tape around and not be lazy. I was lazy and I was like, okay, I'll just move the tape as I go, and I just need to not be lazy. So we're gonna peel off all of our painter's tape that kept us from making the whole darn thing blue, and then we're just going to peel off our stencil vinyl. And now here's that moment for the giveaway. Make sure that you are making a comment down below using the word rustic. That's all you have to do. Comment below, use the word rustic. Let's be a little creative though. Let's not use it just saying the word rustic. Make sure you use it in a sentence. Like we do tell our kids, use it in a sentence. All right, so back to the DIYs. We are going to make sure that you pull everything up. You know, be careful. I didn't wait for the paint to dry. I should have waited it to dry a little bit more, but I didn't. Also with the giveaway, make sure you check the details down below, and I'll have all the details of like, you know, when I'm going to announce it, how long you have to answer back, all that stuff. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to take a little bit of the antique wax from folk art, give in our little jar just some cute detail. You know, it's rustic. It's just farmhousey, and it's just going to be gorgeous once it's done. You wait and see. I definitely messed up on a couple of things, but it's okay because it's rustic, right? That's how it is. That's what I've decided, at least. And I got one side that kind of gives you a lot more of like a summery feel, and one that gives you more of like a just everyday feel. I thought that the black with the blue was really summery. All right, I'm going to take some ribbon. I believe this is a 3-inch wide ribbon. It's a little too wide though. So I went ahead and just glued down a part of it, and the other side I did first, and I discovered this was a much easier way. So I was like, well, I'm going to show them the much easier way. I'll glue down the top part of it. I should have glued down the sides, I'll be honest. I glued down the top and the bottom, and then I was like, probably should have glued down the sides first instead of the bottom. But that's all right. We live and we learn, right? I'm not ready to show you guys my bow making skills because they're kind of atrocious. You think I do a bad job with placing my stuff? Wait till you see me make a bow. So I've got some magnets. Now this is metal, so metal and magnets are pretty happy little friends. And I just glued it down to the back side of my bow. That way I can move it from side to side. See? Yeah. So I just added a couple of magnets onto the frame itself. That way it would hold onto the mason jar, and I can add other elements again, like this one. This is from the Dollar Tree that I absolutely love it. I just love it the way it is. So I snipped off all the stuff around the outside of it, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a couple of magnets on top of the magnets that are there, put my hot glue on it, and then put my little embellishment or whatever on the magnets. That way they're in exactly the right spot. And here is our first finished project with its first part, its second part, and then its third part. I love how easy it can be switched around. I hope you guys had a really fun time watching the video. Don't forget to check out all the links I have below for Cricut, for the challenge. Don't forget about the giveaway, and go check out my video if you missed it somewhere along the way of what you need to do. And I will see you next time.